Hi, Mystic. So this is part two of the Dalai Lama asked boy to suck his tongue. People have asked me what I say or what I think about the situation. So as I mentioned in part one, Dalai Lama is not an enlightened being. In fact, enlightenment is a process and a journey that very likely throughout the course in which they took his life, they actually might have prevented him from achieving it. Remember, you can study and learn and memorize all the scriptures in the world. You can memorize all types of things, but that doesn't mean that you know them. There's a difference between memory, which is a function of intellect, and intelligence, which is a function of knowing. So, one thing that I immediately took into consideration that maybe other people have not is that we don't really know what the Dalai Lama may have been through himself. I mean, he was taken at a young age to go live in a monastery with monks. Yeah. So I'm not saying any of this to excuse the behavior. In fact, if you look at my video number part one, as well as this, none of this is to excuse the behavior. However, I would like to make note that none of us probably ever took into account what he might have been through in his life, what type of mental, emotional, psychological, or other abuse that could have potentially happened. And again, not to excuse his behavior, but the second thing that I think we should take note of is that the Dalai Lama is quite old at this time. He's quite elderly, so no one ever took note or took account of maybe his mental health is starting to deteriorate. I mean, that is a possibility. And one thing that we commonly see in situations where people age and the mind deteriorates is certain lacks of boundaries and a lack of proper social behavior, I guess would be the best way of saying it. I can't say that this is not something that didn't happen to him when he was a young Dalai Lama growing up in the monastery. And again, I'm not trying to throw shots. I'm just trying to look at all sides of the situation. There had to be an enormous amount of pressure on a young child to be the Dalai Lama and to be someone to hold that position, maybe even though he may not have wanted to or may not have been born for that position. Like, comment, follow for more, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this situation as well. As always, we're more than happy to help if you need my assistance in relationships, love, or on your spiritual mystical journey.